mute. The fact the let's fix this too. Oh, I love fixing things. Let's mute this. Sorry. The fact that we're even having a show right now is kind of amazing in and of itself because I was sick in bed all weekend. I was not feeling well all weekend. I just felt like crap, and I didn't know at 7:30 this morning if I even wanted to do a show today because the news has been probably like everyone depressing me. The news has been depressing me. Like I don't know how to like I feel like the tone of the show should be upbeat and happy and kind of like not miserable. And I don't know how to be that person when we're talking about the news right now. Like I just don't. Um, plus getting all the technology to cooperate on a better system, I might add. But getting it all to cooperate is grueling. Yes, I'm still drinking Coca-Cola for those joining. You can leave a comment in the comment section, and I'll post a comment in this through the StreamYard if you so choose. Uh, I hope that decides to work today. I'm just having a hell of a day. Let's a hell of a week, really. I got some bad news on Friday. Um, really no news, which is worse. Like, you know, when you're anticipating something and you want it to happen and you want something good to come out of it and you're waiting for it and you think, oh my God, this is going to be great news. Let me uh, just take it by the bullhorns and go from there and make everything happen. And then it just falls flat in your face. Yeah, I felt like a Ted Cruz announcement speech, basically. Like shit. Um, I'm trying to get out of it. It's been a constant. I mean, and plus it didn't help that I ran out of my medication over the weekend, so I was without my medication. So that just made that compounded the situation because I had to wait till Saturday night to really take any new meds to be on schedule for my medication. So that made it equally bad, and it sucked. So I got to work on my medication and how I take them so I don't be a complete horrid disaster for you guys when we do the show. But that being said, I'm not really sure what we're going to talk about. I had some things lined up, sure. But it's going to be a difficult show. I'm not going to lie. It probably I mean, if you like car wrecks, this will be entertaining. This will be an entertaining car wreck if you like car wreck. But as far as an actual thing for the history books for the Rush Limbaugh Museum of Broadcasting, Radio and Television, not there. No, put it in the dumpster fire and burn it. That's what I say. Just take it in the dumpster fire and burn the bitch. Make the bitch burn. Burn it. So there's that. And I'm wearing blue. I found this shirt. This is probably the loudest shirt that I own. I'm not particularly a fan of this shirt, but it is super loud. It's louder than me. The shirt when the shirt is louder than you are as a person, do you wear this shirt? That's a question you should think about asking yourself. When the shirt is louder than you, do you still wear the shirt? Now this shirt is louder than me. I am not this loud a person in anything. I'm not this loud a person. And the shirt is loud as fuck. And I'm wondering, do you wear the shirt? I chose yes, but I'm in an oddball kind of a mood today, and we're gonna get through the news of the day at 6 o'clock at 9:06 when we start the music and actually start the show. But I'm in an oddball mood today, so maybe I do wear the loudest shirt that you own. Maybe I do pick that. But it should be interesting, and it should be making things interesting for the show today. Considering the mood I'm in and the weekend I had, it should make it all very, very interesting for the show. So that's the intro to the show. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope you stuck around for that. Now we're going to go to the live portion of the show where we trash talk Joe Manchin, Ted Cruz, and a whole bunch of other shitheads in Washington, D.C. Oh, and that People's Convoy still did a thing that nobody fucking noticed. But is headline news. And yet, some things we cannot get to be headline news. We're going to have that discussion. Why are some things way more important than other things in the news cycle? All coming up next. Hey, ho, everybody. Welcome to the program. We are live. My hair is a mess. I'm a mess. I'm wearing the loudest shirt that you could possibly find to wear in my closet. I am not this type of gay. Every once in a while, you just say, fuck it, let's be loud. And apparently I feel like saying, fuck it, let's be loud. So there's that. We're here. We survived the weekend. And literally, we survived the weekend. It's not like we're in Ukraine or anything, where we had to survive a shelling from Russian forces. But my body felt like I was surviving a shelling from Russian forces. I will tell you that much. See, for those who throw up, you are very lucky. I just got to say this on a personal level before we start the show and get into it. You are very lucky that you get sick and you throw up like normal people, like normal human beings. When you throw up, you get sick. It's very healthy. It's very normal. You are very lucky. I do not throw up. It all goes to the lower intestine and comes out the other way. And it is just horrifying. And I wouldn't wish it on Vladimir Putin. Or maybe to get him to stop bombing Ukraine, I would wish it on him. That would be a sanction. If you want a sanction, go through what I went through this weekend. That would be a sanction to Vladimir Putin. Nobody should have to go through it. It's a horrifying, just when you're literally praying to throw up. Hold my head, the back of my head. Don't let the hair get in the back of my head and throw up. And you're literally praying for that to happen. But you know your body doesn't act that way. Tom's body doesn't do that. So the nosy liberal is not going to throw up. So instead, the nosy liberal is going to be miserable in bed all weekend wishing they would die. That was my weekend from Friday afternoon when we closed the show until about 7:30 this morning, when I finally just snapped myself out of it. I just said, you know what? I'm going to snap I got too much shit to do. My life is not that bad. And then I read the notice from the IRS. And then the IRS changed my mind. Yes, my life is that bad. My life is that bad. So we're having a show today. We're having a heck of a show. And I want your participation, even if it's just listening and letting people know that you're listening to the Nosy Liberal. I love your participation. Your participation in the show makes me keep doing the show. Let me repeat. Your participation in the Nosy Liberal makes me keep doing the Nosy Liberal. So for all that are listening, all the ships at sea, thank you so much for your time. It means a lot. It means a lot. And hopefully you have downloaded the app. We have the app in the app stores, and you can listen on the go with FYNation.com. I have some updates to the app that I have to make that I've been promising, but it took us 5 years to get the app. Let's work on the updates later. So bear with me on today's show, if you would. Today's show is going to be a little bit of a jumble. What we should really call this show is the Morning Jumble. Because that's what we do here. We jumble together the news and hope that it fits in the right socket. And that socket is your brain. Let me get an actual sip of soda. And yes, I'm still drinking soda. For those monitoring my beverage intake, I am still drinking soda. I cannot quit. It's a weakness. We all have weaknesses. Mine happens to be cute men and well, cute anyone since I'm pansexual, but specifically cute men. And my other weakness is yummy soda. It makes me feel better. I like the bubblies. I like the bubblies going down my throat. I like the feeling I get when I drink it. I like that I can drink it and fall right asleep after I drunk it because I feel better. I shit you not. I could not sleep, so I drank a can of soda and I went to bed. How fucked as a person am I? And yes, I know Russia has not divested, or Coca-Cola has not divested in Russia, and don't look. Why harm? Why do that to the people of Russia? Right? Why kill their addiction to Coca-Cola? What? So Pepsi can have a win? No. I'm all for the companies coming out and saying, yeah, we're taking our products off the market. But when you think about it, in the grand scheme, you're not harming Putin. He already has access to Xbox and PlayStation and iPhone and Samsung. He has access to all that shit. I mean, let's think about it. Grand scheme of things. Putin, madman, can literally poison you. Putin could poison me if he wanted to. He could put something in my Coca-Cola and boom, I'm gone. That's probably how it would happen because you're not going to get me to drink anything else. Or that one time I do actually drink water. Matt McNeil is going to be coming on from the Matt McNeil show, is going to be with us on the 23rd at 10:30 a.m. The 22nd at 10:30 a.m. we are going to have Desi Doyen of Green News Report. We're racking up March, baby. All next week and the week after, we're racking it up with guests. I cannot wait. We're gonna guest it out. I may be broke ass bitch, but I have the best guests. I have Tom Hartman coming on. I have Tara Devlin, who's a regular. I have Robin Kincaid, who comes on the show. I have the best people. And I'm not like Donald Trump saying, I have the best people. I pick the best people. No, I really do have the best people because I surround people who are smarter than me. Like if I don't know a topic or if I'm feeling a little stupid about climate change or whatever, I will go to Desi Doyen and say, Desi, I need you on my show. Help me talk me through this. And she'll come on the show because liberals are cool like that. I have Ron Blagone coming on the show next Tuesday. It's so fucking cool. I don't have them. I have no clout. There's no clout here. But I have the best people. I have the best guests because they are awesome people and they believe in what we're trying to do. They believe in getting a liberal message across. And that's why I was like, you know what? I'm going to do the show. I feel like Tom feels like complete and utter shit, but Tom's going to do the show anyway. Tom at least has his medication today. Tom at least is ready to go. Tom at least knows his audience will back him. And Tom knows that worst case scenario, he only does an hour or 2 hours of show and then goes away. But we got a lot of show to talk about today, and we're going to take it slow, and we're going to have a conversation. I want to have a conversation with you at FY Nation. We're going to have a number to call in soon. I'm working on that. Just bear with me. It's taking a little, the process is a little more fine-tuned than I like. Things are dicked up, man. Things are dicked up. So, and it's a sweary show, by the way. If you don't like that sort of thing, go elsewhere. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm totally okay with the whole swearing thing. I'm not like the swear mafia where I'm going to get you if you say a naughty word. We don't do that here. We're all adults, I hope. And if you're an adult watching or listening to this show, great. Participate in the show. So give me feedback and we can go from there. Like and subscribe to our FY Nation page. Please like and subscribe to our FYI Nation page. It helps us stay on the air. So there's that. I'm not looking for a huge audience. Like there's this guy that the Agenda Free News. This guy that Lou Hastings turned me on. Me and Lou were supposed to do a show this Saturday. I couldn't get out of bed to do a show. I messaged him from bed and I was like, dude, I can't do this. He was all ready to go and he's pumped to do this new show, Woke Talk Radio. And I was just like, dude, we got to do it next week. And I feel bad because I promised you guys something. I want to deliver. But I can't, one, I can't overpromise, and two, I can't, like, give you a poor performance. Like, I gotta be on it, like, Tucker Carlson is on it. If he can be on it, I can be on it. So I promise you this. I will never fail you. If I feel that I can't do something, I will tell you straight up. This is something I can't do. You will know right away. So the DC convoy, about 1,000 vehicles is being played up by the Guardian of all places. There's a temporary base at Hagerstown, 80 miles northwest of Maryland. Organizers of what they term the People's Convoy of about 1,000 trucks said they had planned to welcome the new work week by driving slowly around Washington on the already notoriously congested Beltway. So they're going to waste gas and make it harder for people to drive around. To get their message across to American politicians. But look, we're already releasing and stopping the COVID restrictions. COVID restrictions are already going out the window. Your protest is mute. I'll say again, your protest is mute. You're too little too late, guys. You should have been protesting a long time ago, but instead you did it to collect money, you did it for your own personal gain, then you got mad because Ukraine was in the news, and now you're getting coverage by the Guardian of all places. I'm covering it. But there's only 1,000 trucks. Does not make a convoy. Does not make a convoy. And most truckers, the average trucker does not feel the need to do this because they have a good paying job. And they're putting food on the table. And they're busy doing that. But instead, these mask holes are doing this damn way. It's kind of pathetic, really. Again, kind of pathetic. In fact, it is pathetic that they have to take time out and ask for donations. Like, there are serious things that we could be donating our money to. And I'm not even including FYI Nation. We could donate our money to Robin Kincaid, Tara Devlin, Broadcast. We can donate our money to, you name, UNICEF, Red Cross. You can buy an Airbnb in Ukraine and tell the family that they're not staying there. You could do so much shit right now. That you instead go on a faux protest for clout. For clout. This is why they're doing it. For clout. Let's be honest about it. They're going on a faux protest for clout. There's no other reason to get their picture in the paper, to get on the blogs, to get on a YouTube video, to be on Newsmax, to be on Fox News. And we know this is the only reason because we did the story last week about how they were pissy biscuits because they weren't getting enough coverage because Ukraine was in the news. So now they're going to clog up traffic. They were late for the State of the Union. They didn't even show. They bungle everything on the right. They bungle it all. They never get it right on the right. It's pathetic. And yet the Guardian is covering this as a major news. 1,000 trucks. Okay, maybe if it was 2,000 or 3,000, I would say cover the story. But 1,000 trucks circling the Beltway in Washington, D.C., basically a giant circle jerk in Washington, D.C., a giant circle jerk. They're covering it as a news item. And it's like, really? This is the news story? This is what we're talking about? A giant circle jerk in Washington, D.C.? Come on. Most of the restrictions are being lifted. New York City, unless you're under 5, you don't have to wear a mask unless it's at the subway or at a Broadway play now. The vaccine passports have basically been done away with. Eric Adams gets to be the good guy in this, the good cop, literally. And what's his face? Bill de Blasio was the bad cop. Had to enforce it. Now we had the good liberal coming in, looking good, looking smart, coming in, a strong black man, saying, "Yeah, we can do it this way now, because the science says so." It was always follow the science. And by the way, not for nothing, the pandemic is not over. You know, that's the scary thing about all this. The pandemic is not over, and yet here we are, worrying about mandates, worrying about who's right, who's wrong in this circle jerk people's convoy. And we're dealing with a bunch of people who don't know how to act like human beings. You're listening to Nosey Liberal. My name is Tom Reynolds. We're talking about the people's convoy. We'll talk about other stuff today. We'll play some video. Lots of great guests later in the month. Lots of great guests. I'm so thrilled for the guests that we have. I just can't wait till next week. I am happy and I'm terrified at the same time. I've interviewed Tom Hartman before, but it was just on FY Nation's Skype and never done a video, and I'm totally out of my comfort zone when I do a video, but I'm getting more used to it and getting more okay with it. And I got to build the channel, right? We need 1,000 subscribers. So the only way I'm going to get 1,000 subscribers to the YouTube, to the Facebook, is if I build the channel and go from there. So that is, in fact, what I'm doing. Somebody asked, what are your politics for FY Nation? Hello, it says progressive talk all over the place. How do you not know? Pray tell, how do you not figure out what my politics are for FYNation.com? Just look at the banner. The banner on the page says progressive talk. The banner on the page, progressive talk. That should be enough to say, oh my God, not right-wing hate radio. That should be a good thing. That should get more people lined up to come on to the FY Nation app and come on to our YouTube channel and everything else, because we got a difference of opinion. We have people on the air with different opinions. I like having guests, but I want you too. I want to talk about People's Convoy, but I don't want to blather on about the People's Convoy on my own. I want to hear from you. Leave a comment in the comment section, and hopefully it'll pop up, and I'll display it. Because supposedly the StreamYard, I paid the money for it to allow me to do this silly thing in this silly way. I should be able to show it. So feel free. You know, we do this show for you, because there aren't enough liberal, progressive voices out there in the morning. And we're a new breed. And I hope we do a good enough job for you. But the People's Convoy, such a waste of time. wasted energy when you could, like, I did get a chance to talk to Rick Smith about this when we had him on, but such a waste of energy when we could be talking about, for truckers, better roads, better bridges, safer highways, safer times for work. We could talk about so many other different things for truckers, you know, Uh, and yet here we are. This is the bridge you want to build, the hill you want to die on. You want to die on this hill. You want to die on the hill that truckers are anti-vaccine. You want to make all truckers look like they just don't give a shit about people's health. Really? My body, my choice. Unless you're a woman with a vagina or a trans person trying to become their true self. Then fuck your body, your choice. It's that simple. It's unfortunate, but it's that simple. That's where we're at. And you can't tell me that that's not where we're at, because this is all the laws that they come up with. Anti-choice laws, anti LGBTQ laws, anti feminist laws, where they're debating, should we talk about feminism in the schools, and they're having a debate about funding. This is what they come down to in an argument, and it's so pathetic that this is where we're at. It's so mind-boggling too. It boggles my mind. It's been, and I hate to kind of repeat myself, but I'm almost at a loss for words, because this is not the Republican Party that I grew up on. Rick Smith talked about this. The Republican Party of the 90s at least had ideas. They were bad ideas, but they had ideas. Now it's regurgitated, reactionary, faux outrage nonsense. This is People's Convoy that we're talking about right now. Faux outrage nonsense. It's pathetic that this is where we're at. Yet here we are. Here we are. Loud as a bell. It's horrifying that this is where we have to be with stories like it's 1,000. This is barely a blip on. Like, if there was an Occupy protest that had 1,000 people, the Guardian probably wouldn't cover it to the extent that they're covering this. I'm just saying. I don't think they would. Not the front page of the Guardian. Because they, even as good as the Guardian is, does not cover liberal media like that. Liberal causes like that. Excuse me. And it's scary that we're there, but that's where we're at. It's unfortunate that we're there. But that's where we're at. And that's why we need more people to rise up and come up and say, this is bullshit. And be honest about it. And basically say, this track you're on is bullshit. When we could be talking about so many other things in the news. Now, I could talk about, drone on and about Ukraine and everything else, but that's not going to change. I'm talking about stuff that we can change, like there were actual walkouts in Florida. I did not see this anywhere in the mainstream news. Actual walkouts in Florida for the Don't Say Gay bill. You know where I saw the actual walkouts? On TikTok. I saw the coverage of the walkouts on TikTok. It's mighty pathetic where I have to get my news, genuine news on left causes, from TikTok, because the so-called liberal elite media does not actually cover it. Because it's against their interest. Because they want to be able to talk to these right-wingers at some point. Because as scary as it is, these right-wingers at some point are going to be governors and attorney generals and senators, and just look at Rick Scott. Maybe the president of the United States one day. Hopefully never, but maybe. And outlets like The Guardian want to maintain that civility with them for decorum. Well, fuck that. I'm serious. Fuck that. You know what you could do to be objective is have the opposition on and have them loud, and then have the opposition of the opposition on and have them loud. As loud as this shirt, as loud as this blue shirt, you should have on the opposition. It's really that simple. If you want to be truly an objective media source and be the liberal media. But no, they don't want to. They want to be this corporatized, so-called democratized media outlet. And Guardian, I'm looking at you. Willing to cover a protest of 1,000 trucks. Barely making a dent in the right-wing media. And if the right-wing media isn't covering it, why the fuck are you covering it? I mean, Jesus. Why are you giving it oxygen? Where are the left causes to give oxygen? Where is the left? I talked about this on Friday. Make it make sense, and I think that's my new mantra. Make it make sense. I'm gonna ask every guest that I have on to. And I'm sorry, this piece of my hair is driving me nuts, and I need a haircut. That being said, it makes me feel like I have the Hitler look going on, and I know I don't, but it's causing me a little anxiety. So I apologize. It's a distraction. Make it make sense. We have to be able to, like, go in and understand what we're dealing with and be on the same page. And we can't be on the same page if we're learning about these things through TikTok and not the press. The press on the right is vibrant. It's willing to go and beat up whoever they need to beat up and go after, figuratively. Beat up whoever they need to beat up and go after whoever they need to go after. And they don't care if it's Joe Biden or Joe Manchin. If they don't fit into their narrative, they're going to go after them. The left needs to take a page out of that playbook. And the left needs to be like, okay, we're going to go after you. If you don't believe in our cause, and this is the only way to level the playing field. They're going to call you liberal anyway. They're going to call you leftist anyway. So maybe, just maybe say, yeah, okay, I carried that mantle. I'm okay with that. I'm all right with you calling me liberal and leftist. Like the Nosey Liberal. Why is this show named the Nosey Liberal? The show is named the Nosey Liberal because I want to know everything about you and what's going on in your life, in my world, in everything that matters. That's why the show is called the Nosey Liberal. I want to know everything going on that matters. And the only way I'm going to find out is if I say, tell me everything that matters. Bring it to the table. That's the only way it's going to happen. Is if I open the airways for FYNation.com that we have contributors for to the Patreon page. Thank you, by the way. Thank you to our generous contributors. We need more so we can continue all the bells and whistles. And then I could do more bells and whistles. See, that's how it progresses. The struggle is real. But we need to be able to know that we can have this voice out there. Like people are looking for, in Ukraine, the BBC, because the internet is kind of dodgy. And so they're looking for the BBC, and the BBC has had to turn on shortwave. And the BBC is an awesome outlet for news. But they still, for access, pivot to the right on occasion. We don't, at least I don't give a shit about it. Like, if anything, I want you to tell me I'm never coming on your show. I will never come on your show. I want that kind of outrage from all sides. Because then I know you're paying attention. If I got you that mad about how the liberal corporate elite media is, then I've done my job. And I sound like a right winger right now, don't I? The liberal corporate elite media. It's a thing. But the difference is the nuances. The nuance. Gotta talk about the nuance. I'm doing a little dance for those who are listening on the radio. Gotta talk about the nuance. The difference between the nuance of us and them is I am not going to care if you call me the liberal media. In fact, I want you to call me the liberal media. I am the liberal media. I will be that punching bag for the MSNBCs of the world and the apologetic intelligentsia of the world and the left who has to go on Tucker, like Tulsi Gabbard, who claims to be such a liberal and has to go on Tucker Carlson to trash Joe Biden. Come on, really, Tulsi? I would never have her on this show. And I believe some of the stuff she talks about with tech, with big tech. I believe in a lot of the stuff she talks about in big tech. But I would never have her on this show because I think she's a phony. I don't have phonies on this show. I have people who believe in what they're talking about and believe their causes. And that's what we need more of. Instead, we're getting phony, foul, people convoy protests. And then on Fox News this morning, we had, I should have recorded it, but it was so, just, this couple, this beautiful couple, this very white couple was on the TV, and they were trying to get their family out of Ukraine. But they wanted to only bring them to America. Well, ain't that nice? Why not have the Nigerian or Somalian or Yemenis couple on the Fox News trying to get the family only to America? Oh, could it be because they're black? And they don't look like the pasty white teleprompter reading whore they have on the TV machine. And I'm going to start using words that I believe in. And I know I might offend some people with these words, but I'm going to do it for shock value. Because we have to be honest about why we're doing things on this show. The people, the teleprompter vaccinated whores over at Fox News, makeup ridden. Not that there's anything against makeup. I just don't know how to put it on. I would love a tutorial on how to put on makeup because I have a fantasy that I could actually wear makeup and look good in makeup. And then I laugh at myself because me in makeup, yeah. Talk about a drag show going wrong. But that's not why I want to do it neither. Like, there are some very good trans women who look really good in makeup. And some who look equally good out of makeup. I don't believe I'm one of them. And I have nothing, again, against people in makeup. But they gotta gloss themselves up and glamour themselves up. And they're not real. They're like these faux reporters. And they're not giving you news. Like, they'll never get an Emmy for the news coverage. Outstanding news coverage from Fox News, Fox and Friends. Like, you'll never see that in the media. That will never be a thing. Outstanding news coverage from Fox News, Fox and Friends. Will never actually be a thing. Because they're in a opinion piece peppered with straight news. I feel sorry for the straight news people because they're pawns. Like the show we're gonna do with Lou next week, and I promise you, we're gonna do it next week. The show we're gonna do with Lou, he's gonna deliver the news. I'm gonna deliver the commentary. I don't feel comfortable delivering the news part because I can't be straight. I have to have my opinion in it. Lou doesn't feel comfortable about opinion unless he's chiming in. So we're melding our two superpowers together, and we are going to bring you Woke Talk Radio. And it's going to be awesome. And I wanted to do it this weekend, but I couldn't get out of bed. So there's that. And it's like frustrating, man, that we got these people on the People's Convoy getting all the coverage. And it always turns that way, right? There's always that case of the right-wingers getting all the coverage when the left cause have to basically declare anarchy for it to, or something bad has to happen. And then they paint the whole thing. Something bad happens on the left cause, and then all the right-wingers all the right-wingers descend on the story or whatever it is, and the story, like George Floyd, doesn't actually get reported on what happened to him. It's these BLM mob did this. BLM mob did that. It's never, because they don't want it. They don't want to tell the average American the actual story of the news. They don't want to tell, like, if they told the actual story of the news about the People's Convoy, the actual story would be this is a phony, made-up protest that includes Euphoria episodes that they don't like. If they were telling the actual story of the People's Convoy, we would get the real news from this. But instead we have this bullshit. The Guardian, of all places, is posting, and I posted it on Twitter, 1,000 truck convoy is going to encircle the DC metro area and stall out traffic for a week. And at the same time, people are going to be donating to this and being fleeced and grifting off of this. How fucking pathetic. Can we do better? Like right wing, can you find something better to protest? I mean, I know you missed your moment with Canada and you're mad about it. You had an opportunity and you missed it and you're mad. I get it. You're upset. Get a tissue, wipe it off, and find something to protest about. You know? Ask Marjorie Trader Green. I'm sure she can find something for you to protest about, other than the fact that most vaccine passports and most things are being lifted because even the state of emergency is being lifted for COVID. And even though the pandemic, as I keep saying, is still a big deal, is being treated as meh. So that's how we're going to treat it. We're going to treat you the same way. Meh. Sounds like a sheep giving birth. I don't know why I make that noise. That noise is so off-putting. But it's like these convoys. They make no sense. They make no sense, these people convoys. Like, they're not even protesting for anything good at this point. They could change their whole, like, I could be behind the People's Convoy if they changed it right now, flip a switch and said, we're protesting for a no-fly zone in Ukraine. We're with the people of the Ukraine, and we're protesting for no more oil in Russia, which I'm for, by the way, and no more Russian oil, and whatchamacallit, the no-fly zone in Ukraine. I'm actually for both things. I think you could do it. I think you could do it without starting World War III. It would be really hard, yes, but I think you could manage to do it without starting World War III. And if you're gonna really put Putin in a box, let's call him out. Okay, you want World War III, bub? Here it is. You pushed us. You beat us. You whooped us so hard that now we have to go with Zelensky and enter World War III. You told us sanctions didn't work and sanctions were a declaration of war. And you're big bad Putin? All right. Let's bring it. Let's bring it. Do I want nuclear winter? Absolutely not. But you know what? If that's the only thing this little man is going to listen to, oh my God, I'm turning into Joe Manchin. He's for the no-fly zone. And look, I'm not. I'm for the no-fly zone in a different reason. It's a last beacon of hope for a deterrent. Because he's already saying, I'm going to do this. So take him at his word. Take the tyrant at his word and say, okay, you're going to do this? It's on. Where do I sign up? Like if I could fly a jet, I would totally be in Ukraine right now. I wish it were that easy, like the old days in World War II, where you just signed up. You just flew over to Europe and you were like, put me on that jet. I'm going to fly and I'm going to take her out. I'm going to take out those Nazis. If we're going to be a cute... See, this is what I don't get about the left. What I don't get about the right either. The right is too easily willing to hop on this train than I am. I take a little time to get there. But what I don't get about the left is they're going to call us these names and they're going to act as if we're these things and they're going to continue to put pressure on us to do it this way. Eventually, it has to be, okay, you want it your damn silly way, let's do it your damn silly way. We'll be there to pick up the pieces, but we're gonna go after them. Because at this point, what do we have left? What do we have left? If I'm wrong, hashtag FY Live, at FY Nation. What do we do? A people's convoy? A convoy of cars to Washington, D.C. to what? Send a message to Putin? Putin doesn't give a shit about your fucking convoy. Putin is happy to fucking gas you and shoot you and get rid of you and throw weapons at a nuclear power plant. Putin is happy to do all those things. He either A, is dying of cancer, 2, doesn't care, 3 is just a prick. I'm going with 3. I'm going with 3. He is just a prick. He does not care. I don't think he's dying of cancer and this is his last leg and no, I don't believe any of those rumors. I think he is happy to do what he wants to get what he wants and act how he wants. Well, now we are being asked to stand up for Ukraine. When we should have stood up for Syria, when we should have stood up for Yemen, when we should have stood up for all these other countries. Because sanctions don't work. Now it's time for us to do something. I'm not calling for World War III. I'm saying World War III is already here. It took me the weekend, and this is why I was so depressed. It took a great amount of realization to come to this. Excuse me, my medication is giving me runny nose. It took me a great amount of time to get to this point. Now, I disagree with Joe Manchin for why he wants to not... He wants to basically say that the no-fly zone shouldn't be off the table. I agree with him. But he wants to show his manliness, his balls. He doesn't have any balls. He's just going with the flow of the Republican Party. To have real balls is to say, you know what? We've gotten to the point where we can't allow this anymore. We cannot allow your aggression anymore. You want to tell me that nuclear weapons are on the table? Nuclear weapons are on the table. You want to tell me that World War III is on the table? World War III is on the table. We have to equally be strong with these madmen. Otherwise, they're going to run rimshot over us, and more civilians are going to be killed. How many people have to? I mean, what is the body count do we get to? What body count amount do we get to before we act in Ukraine? Somebody answer that for me at FY Nation. Oh, but we get it with nuclear war. Nobody wants nuclear war. I don't want it. I would like to think Putin doesn't want it. But World War III is already here. What is the body count? It's like, before you shut everything down for COVID, what does the body count get to before we shut everything down again? It all intersects. You can't tell me it doesn't. And these madmen are allowed to get away with this. Lindsey Graham, instead of saying, we need to take out Putin, should be saying we need to take out the Russian army. And look, I'm not Sean Hannitying this, where we need to do it clandestinely and whatever. He's going to know who did it. He's going to blame us anyway. You don't see what you don't understand. This pisses me off. Okay, the new plan. We're gonna put Russian jets in the Ukrainian air space, and we're going to fly them over from Poland and Lithuania and Estonia and all these other countries that have these, and then we're going to resupply them. Putin's going to blame us. Putin's going to say, you can't do that. What are you doing? I see you. Putin doesn't think that's clandestine. He thinks down the road from here, he thinks, oh, that's a way for me to bomb you even harder. That's a way for me to go into Poland or Moldova or any of these other, Lithuania, or what's that country that the former First Lady is from? He's going to consider it an act of war. So why pussyfoot around? Oh, because we don't want to. And what's the point of the sanctions? If we don't want to. No, you got to, at some point, you have to do an analysis of how many people you are willing to lose and fight for what is right. You have to be able to say to yourself, and I hated coming to this term, but you have to be able to say to yourself, we have to defend these people. See, the easy way out is say, no war, protest war. That's the easy way out. That time has passed. That's up for the Russian people to do that and overthrow Putin, and that's not going to happen. But that's up to the Russian people. Our job is to defend democracy. At least that's what I was grown up on. We defended democracy and we stopped the Iron Curtain. We did all these things, and we're the superpower because of it. What is the point of being a superpower if we are not going to defend someone crying out and saying, I'm bleeding? What is the point of being a superpower when we are going to allow someone, fuck the oil at this point, fuck the oil embargo. Oh, the oil embargo is going to... No, it's not. You know what will stop this? Send your first NATO jet across the skies of Ukraine. Then Putin will have to think, do I really want to do this? Do I want to be the guy that starts World War III? Or do I want to come to the table? Fly the jets across Ukraine. We are at World War III. It was a slow burn. I expect a lot of hate for this. I expect a lot of hate for this. And we haven't even gotten into the stories about Joe Manchin. We shouldn't take no-fly zone off the table. In fact, we should one-up it. Peace in our time, Never Chamberlain is done. Joe Biden needs to come in swinging and strong and not leave it up to the Ukrainians. The only way to stop this is to put your foot down. Put your foot down. Send U.S. Why do we have them? Then somebody needs to explain to me why we have all these U.S. jets. Why we have all these nuclear vessels. If we're not going to use them, when somebody is saying, I'm going to declare World War III because you've sanctioned me, and take them at their word, and they've already attacked a nuclear facility, at what point do we declare war? When they bomb Poland? Do they have to bomb Britain? Do they have to bomb Paris? At what point do we declare World War III to stop the madman? I'm not saying it's easy, but most of us, and not for nothing, unlike most of you, I live in Connecticut. I live about 60 miles away from the naval shipyards in Groton, Connecticut. I am in a targeted area, right? The submarine base and everything else, I am in a targeted area. So I'm not just saying willy-nilly, just bomb the fuck out of them and have no consequences. We have nuclear weapons pointed at us right now. I can guarantee it. We need to stop the madman before he does any more damage to prevent anything else coming to fruition. We have to stop it. Morally, at this point, we have to save the European continent from Russia. Because if we're just going to wait for the people of Ukraine to do it, in Ukraine and Russia, it's going to be a long wait. We'll be back after this.
Hey, this is Brad Friedman of the Bradcast. You can now listen to our show every day at 11 p.m. Eastern and again in the morning at 7 a.m. Start your day or end your night with the Bradcast. The Bradcast is commercial-free right here on FYI Nation, thanks to those of you who donate to FYI Nation's Patreon account. Thanks for listening to FYI Nation and to the Bradcast, now heard every day on FYINation.com at 11 p.m. Eastern and again at 7 a.m. FYINation.com. Communication with motivation.
Hey there, fellow working class heroes. Tune in to the Rick Smith Show every weeknight from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern. That's Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. right here on commercial-free FYINation.com, your liberal lion for all things talk radio. The Rick Smith Show is commercial-free thanks to your generous donations to FYINation.com. The Rick Smith Show is where working people come to talk. You can find FYINation.com on your smart device and listen to me, Rick Smith, weeknights 9 p.m. Eastern right here on FYINation.com. FYINation.com is communication with motivation. For more information about The Rick Smith Show, visit our website at thericksmithshow.com. To participate during the program, call in live. Give us a call, 1-866-416-RICK. That's 1-866-416-7425.
Hey, ho, ho. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Nosey Liberal. My name is Tom Reynolds. You're listening to it. I'm going to have a discussion with Tom Hartman next week. Are we already at World War III? At one point, do we say, yeah, we're at World War III? I think we're already there. Now, Joe Manchin is an idiot. I stand by that. I totally, Joe, you're going to say, Tom, Joe Manchin has the same stance as you. You could still be an idiot and have the same stance. I'm not, saying you shouldn't be willing to discuss keeping on or keeping off the table things like a no-fly zone. I agree that he shouldn't have the no-fly zone off the table. It shouldn't be no, we're not going to do it. It's never going to be discussed. I agree with Joe Manchin on this. But the reason he is let's have the no-fly zone. Joe Manchin wants to have the no-fly zone as a stickler to Biden. So he can say, yeah, I'm with the Republicans. I'm strong. And yada, yada, yada. He wants to have his talking point. This is just, this is bunk. This is a talking point to Joe Manchin. So he can get his name in the paper and get fundraising and say, look how strong I am, West Virginia. I'm standing with the people of Ukraine. Look at me stand, that I have no actual thoughts. I'm going with the Republicans, even though I should be a Republican. And though I call myself a Democratic Party member, I am a Republican. So, that's where we're at. He doesn't have any original thoughts, Joe Manchin. He's another teleprompter whore, too. This, for me, is serious. I don't want people being drafted in the war, but you know what? They already are. Russians are already being drafted into World War III. They're being lied to, but they're being drafted into World War III. I'm not, over-dramatizing it for clout or saying that this is where I'm a peacenik at heart. I am a flower girl, right? I want peace and love, and I want to, have an argument about the Don't Say Gay bill, and I don't want to talk about this. But at the point where you have people, orphans, making the Z sign for Putin, in Russia as propaganda, we're at war. And Joe Manchin is an idiot because Manchin thinks this is just bravado to get his name in the paper, to be called up on Meet the Press as the guy who disagrees with Joe Biden. That's why Manchin's an idiot. He doesn't actually believe. It was part of why I was so depressed and sick was I had to come to terms with the reality that this is World War III, that we're at the beginning stage of World War III. World War II and World War I didn't happen overnight. It took gradual steps and sped up and sped up and sped up. And World War III is not going to happen with some bombing of some American thing. It's going to happen to our ally. So how many of our allies, I asked this to Joe Biden, How many of our allies have to die before we give a damn? How many of our allies? It is unnecessary for all these people to be wasted because you won't do anything. Congress should declare war on Russia. Yes, I said it. This is a liberal. Congress should declare war on Russia and say the war will not be over until Putin's acts of aggression to Europe are stopped in its tracks. Because that's the only way you're going to get Putin to listen and be taken any amount of serious. They say, oh, he's a madman. We're dealing with a madman. No, we're dealing with a guy who has been allowed to do whatever the fuck, however the fuck, whichever way the fuck. Putin is not a madman. Putin has thought this through. Putin has gotten permission from China. China has basically said, and this is where I agree with the right wing on this, China has said, you know what? Maybe we can take on Taiwan if this goes well. What's the West going to do? They're going to sanction us? Now, I know I sound like I'm talking about Republican talking points, but here's the difference between me and Republican talking points. I am saying push the button. I'm not saying, oh, don't buy Russian oil. Okay, great. You don't buy Russian oil. Vladimir Putin loses $1 billion. Whoop-de-fucking-do. I am saying push the button. How many more people need to die needlessly? How many millions of lives need to be wrecked? How many people need to go? Ask yourself that, and you'll get to the same conclusion that I got. If you believe in democracy, if you believe in a freedom-loving people, and it's no coincidence that World War III in Star Trek started in like 2024 or 2026. I don't have the date right, I don't think. And I'm not like gunning for that. I'm not gunning for a Star Trek future because it's all in the clouds. Although that would be nice, where we had a Unitarian government that allowed people to have free medical access, that allowed no more wars, no more fights over religion, no more. Like, I am literally the no more person. No more wars, no more nuclear weapons, no more. But if we're going to have them, if we're going to use them as a deterrent, if we're going to say this has got to stop, and you have a madman being willing to be a madman in the way he's being a madman, the only way to stop him is to go after him with everything you've got. Because the generals aren't going to do it, Lindsey Graham. The no-fly zone is not going to do it, Joe Manchin. Just leaving it on the table. Push the button. Push the button. I will be the only liberal dying on this hill. I am for freedom and democracy. Not the kind of freedom and democracy you take to Iraq and it becomes the most corrupt country in the world. Not that kind of freedom and democracy. I'm for people already free. People have had 5 free, fair elections while Putin is in office. And they're being attacked now, and they're being slaughtered now, and they're declaring everything but genocide, which is close enough. What does the world need to do to wake up? I said before that Joe Biden has balls, and I really hope he does. Unlike Donald Trump. But the only way to be afraid of this guy is to say, look, we're done. The sanctions didn't work. You can't even uphold a ceasefire. They tried twice over the weekend to have ceasefires. The Russian army did not even sustain the ceasefire. It's not up to the Ukrainians to sustain the ceasefire. It's up to the Russian army to sustain the ceasefire. And under Putin's orders and Putin's generals, they did not do that. So you say, look, you guys can't even sustain a ceasefire in an operation that you're doing that we have left completely out of. I think now we need to say, okay, this is it. And this clandestine the cowardly way out. Oh my God, did we not learn anything from World War II? Do not take the cowardly way out. Do not prevent this. We should have prevented it from starting, but we didn't. Donald Trump didn't. Obama didn't. They did not prevent Putin from doing this thing this way. So now we're stuck with it, as Donald Trump so eloquently said. We're stuck with it. Paraphrasing. It's a thing. So now we have this giant thing sitting on our lap. We either get fucked by it or fuck it. It's really simple. Donald Trump is not going to come in and save us from Putin. Putin will only stop if Putin sees an endgame where he thinks stopping is going to be justifiable for him. Putin is going all the way. We need to be as strong, and this is what Putin knows, and this is what China knows. Putin and China know that the Americans are weak. We're weak. We don't like blood. We don't like the sight of blood. We like it in our films. We like it in our... But we don't like it. Ew. We can't handle it. We're weak. It's one thing to be like Donald Trump and talk tough and everything else, but he's weak. He's a coward. It's another thing to go in and say, look, I want to do this. And I'm going to do this. And I'm going to stop this. Because it's the right thing to do. You cannot have world peace without getting your hands dirty. It's that simple. Your hands are going to get dirty with this. And yes, Joe Manchin is right. Don't take off the table the no-fly zone. But one, it's a late-ass thing to say. And two, it's to say to be against Joe Biden. I'm not saying we're weak to be against Joe Biden. I think Joe Biden is the leader of this time to be able to deal with this because he understands the cause of war. I think he is the FDR of our... And this is what scares... And this is what scares the Republicans. FDR was the right leader in the right time. Joe Biden is the right leader in the right time. And I think he was perfectly meant for the challenge to bring about world peace through strength. Not through this pussyfooting around. And I'm not saying... Look, I'm not even saying fly the planes. I'm not saying fly the planes like the Republicans are. Republicans want war. Because they have that vested interest in the industrial military complex. I'm saying push the button. Be like the Klingons. Little Star Trek analogy. In Klingon culture, when you're in prison, they always come up to you and they say, today is a good day to die. And you don't know if it's going to be your day to die or not in that prison. Maybe be a little like that, Joe Biden. Vladimir, is today a good day to die? I'm pushing the button. Now, do you want me to fly this jet? NATO jets are a go. And if they're not, American jets are a go. to protect our Ukrainian ally. You already accuse us of this damn silly thing. Well, damn it, we're going to be this way. Again, there's a big difference of being accused of something and not actually doing it, and then actually pushing the button. Joe Biden, don't be weak. Don't give the Republicans an inch. Joe Biden. Say, look, one more bomb, one more troop movement, I'm going to release hellfire on you to protect NATO, to protect our NATO allies, and to protect Ukraine, a democracy that you don't believe in. This peace in our time, sorry, it's past. It's past. He doesn't want peace. We've given Putin every opportunity to have peace in our time. Joe Biden, do not go down as Neville Chamberlain. Even Switzerland is like, yeah, we're not going to be so neutral. Even Switzerland is not being neutral. Because Switzerland sees the problems of being neutral. Joe Manchin is an idiot, back to Manchin again, because he uses this as a talking point to take another jab at Joe Biden. Say what you want about me. I want Joe Biden to be the world's leader for peace and democracy. And the only way to be the world's leader of peace and democracy is to show up. The music is playing. The conductor has started conducting. All you have to do is dance. The ballroom is set. I mean, we could have a singles dance where we stand in the corner and let Vladimir Putin foxtrot all over us. And then into the next country, and then into the next country, and then how many people have to die? When is it justifiable? How many Holocaust museums have to be hit? When is war justifiable? And I say that as somebody who can't go to war because of my medical condition. I would be the first to volunteer, by the way. I would be the first to volunteer. Knowing that I'd shoot myself in the fucking eye. But at what point do we have to say and be honest about the situation and say, this is it? This cannot stand. Peace-loving people do not deserve this. The peace-loving people of America, of the world, stand united against authoritarianism and totalitarianism, and we are going to make sure that China knows it, that Russia knows it, that any despot in Africa knows it, and we are going to finally take a stand. It shouldn't be like this. I agree. It should not be like this. But it is. And coming to that realization, a harsh realization of life, stressed me out over the weekend. It stressed me out. I don't like to be a war hawk. I'm the last person you want to be a war hawk. But how many people need to die? How many Syrians? How many Yemenis? How many? I mean, we already let it happen. So are we just going to let it happen? If so, tell me. Tell me. Be honest. Because the sanctions will do nothing. Putin will not stop unless something stops him. If he's a war criminal, you have to treat him as such. I don't know how else to put it at this point. If he's a war criminal, treat him as such. What other way is there? Comment in the comments section. Hashtag FY Live at FY Nation. Give me a call. Let me know if you. I want to hear. Look, if you disagree with me and you think there is still a peaceful way out of this, please, by God, share it. Share it. But I'm telling you, your former Republican friend does not see a peaceful way out of this. I see a mad megalomaniac wanting to get what they want at all costs and does not care about the damage he does. When do we say enough is enough? Again, goes back to that abusive relationship. How many times do we let the wife get hit by the husband and do nothing? Until she shoots him? I mean, that's what it's looking like. Oh, Ukraine, you got to shoot him. And Ukraine can only do so much. So that's where we're at. That's where we're left. Damn shame. We'll come back with more. I'll try and lighten the mood. I promise. Not by much, but we'll try anyway. I'm really frustrated and I'm really scared, and I hope you could tell that. This is not like bravado like Joe Manchin. Let's hit him and hit him hard and blah, blah, blah. This scares me. This terrifies me, and it should terrify all of you. And you all should be scared. And we're not even in the thick of it. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Brad Friedman
And Desi Doyen.
of the Bradcast.
You can listen to our show every day at 11 p.m. Eastern and again in the morning at 7 a.m.
Start your day or end your night with the Bradcast. The nightmares are on me.
The Bradcast is commercial-free right here on FYI Nation, thanks to those of you who donate to FYI Nation's Patreon account.
Yes, please do. And thanks for listening to FYI Nation and to the Bradcast, now heard every day right here on FYINation.com at 11 p.m. Eastern and again at 7 a.m.
That's FYINation.com. Communication with motivation.
What she said.
I'm Dr. Anthony Lazowitz, and this is Climate Connections. Almost a third of the Navajo Nation's population lacks clean drinking water, and about 15,000 homes on the reservation are without electricity. When Kern Collymore and his partner Janine Yazzie returned from New York to her home on the Navajo Nation, they set out to change that.
We thought we had these big fancy educations and we'd come back and work on issues. I mean, we really saw firsthand on the front lines how it's not that people in these communities don't know how to do things or that they need this outside help, is that their voices aren't being listened to.
So through their company, Six World Solutions, the pair is working with residents. They help install off-grid water filtration systems on 4 homes. These solar-powered systems provide clean water and some power.
We're able to provide electricity for lights at night and then also charging cell phones, charging USB type things.
The systems were developed at the University of Arizona, and people from the reservation were trained how to install and use them. Now the team is gathering feedback on the systems and will incorporate it before installing more. So long-term, the approach could help bring more clean water and clean power to the Navajo Nation. Climate Connections is produced by the Yale Center for Environmental Communication. To hear more stories like this, visit climateconnections.org.
hey ho ho. Later today, you're going to get 2 uploads for the price of 1 to the podcast. We will be uploading Friday's show. And sorry, I have to stand. I hope you like my Snoopy pants. For those who may have seen. And we have a common theme on today's show. Tom is aggravated. The Nosey Liberal. You can tweet me at the Nosey Liberal, or Tom at FYNation.com is my email. Feel free to send me some hate mail. I would love to get me some hate mail. Bring it. Am I a warmonger? I would love to be called a warmonger. Anybody wants to call me a warmonger, feel free. I'm here for it. I think Putin's a warmonger, but I think we need to show strength through power, and not just this bullshit way that Ted Cruz is talking about and the Blaze is talking about. Oh, we're gonna get them. We're gonna America first. America first. They talk about. Let's go with America first. We need to hit them where they hurt. That's right. We need to get the Energy Freedom Act. Yes, that'll stop Ukraine from being bombarded. Cruz said that the Biden administration has caused America to lose its status as a neutral net petroleum exporter. In the press release, Cruz said that the policies have poured billions of dollars into countries such as Russia and Iran, which use these funds to attack our allies and undermine our national security in America. President Biden has imposed more restrictions on U.S. oil companies than he has on Russia oil. With Iran, he has looked the other way as the regime busted through sanctions and raised their exports to more than 1 million barrels per day, and the first time in almost 3 years. Cruz said that the legislation should pass. It won't, though. It would provide an economic boom for the country while enabling the U.S. to reduce trade with countries it hopes to punish on the international stage, because that'll stop them. Oh, the spine on Ted Cruz. The spine on Ted Cruz. We need more oil. Drill, baby, drill. That'll stop them. That'll put a halt. A direct stop to Vladimir Putin. What a moron. What an idiot. He believes that doing this in this way will put a halt to Iran and Vladimir Putin. Have they ever heard of China? No? Musk took to Twitter and said, hate to say it, but we need to increase oil and gas output immediately. Extraordinary times demand extraordinary measures. Yay! Let's just destroy the planet further. Now, literally, I just called for pushing the button to go to World War III, and I am very aware that that would cause a destruction of the planet ecosystem if nuclear weapons were launched. I'm very aware of that. But it would also send Vladimir Putin a message that he might actually hear. That we are not weak-kneed little bitches like Ted Cruz, who thinks, yeah, we're just going to drill our way out of this. That's been their answer for everything. We're going to drill our way out of this. At what point do they understand the consequences of continuing to drill for oil? At what point do they figure out, do they grasp that drilling for oil is just a bad thing and shouldn't be done? That it harms the environment? How many icebergs have to break and make people float away? Which actually happened this past week, by the way. How many batshit crazy things have to happen to the environment before people like Ted Cruz and so-called news outlets like The Blaze get off their ass and realize that maybe this is a bad idea? They're blaming Keystone XL for not being a thing as a part of the reason that Russia went into Ukraine. And thinks it could stop. They don't have an original thought. Like, they're not the Republicans of old where they, and even then, were thinking about, like, even the Republicans of the 40s were attacking Franklin Delano Roosevelt's dog. The dog. This was a time of war. I saw that clip on TikTok, and I was like, dude, you are a hero. Joe Biden could be a hero and say, gloves off. We're done. You don't want to talk? You don't want to have the door open for you to be on the international stage properly? All right, we're going to treat you the way you want to be treated. I know it's a hard call. I know it's a hard call for everybody involved. But I look at those buildings that were shelled, those apartments, and I look at those people in Syria that have gone through this already. They want you to make the call. They want you to stop Vladimir Putin. They've been waiting for years for you to stop Vladimir Putin. No amount of gushing oil is going to stop Vladimir Putin. Tell me I'm wrong. He can supply oil to Iran, to Mexico, to African countries that will do business with him that we lock out. He could work with China. Please tell me I'm wrong. I would love to hear how wrong I am. I would love to hear how wrong I am at this point where energy independence is going to get us to stop World War III with Vladimir Putin. Because Vladimir Putin is just sitting there and is shaking and thinking, yeah, if only Joe Biden would put Keystone XL online, I'd stop what I'm doing. Vladimir Putin wants the former Soviet Union back. He wants that band to continue to play. He doesn't give a shit about the Keystone oil pipeline or the environment or anything else, but his perverted vision of how things are to be. And the sooner we get that process through our thick skulls, the better off we'll be, whether it be the President of the United States or it be Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is the worst one because he actually thinks that energy independence is going to solve everything. Maybe I am as loud as my shirt today. Because I'm pretty pissed off. And that's what was depressing me all weekend. I don't like being this angry. I don't like coming off like the fucking Alex Jones of the left. Where we have to go and press the button because that's all he will listen to. I would love to be told I'm wrong, but what has he listened to so far? He keeps telling us, like a Republican, that we're doing bad, that we're doing wrong, that we're approaching on the red line, and this, that, and the other thing, and we're not even doing much of anything on the global stage to stop Putin. Certainly not helping the Ukrainians the way they should be helped. So what do we need to do to show this maniacal, evil bastard we need business? Maybe, here's it. Okay, forget. Let's take this option. Forget my original option of pressing the button. Let's fly NATO planes on the edge of the border of Ukraine. On the edge of the border. Like they do in Russia. They like to encroach on European airspace. And they like to send fighter jets into Sweden and independent countries in Europe. Let's just fly these planes over the edge and just play peekaboo with them. We don't have to do a no-fly zone. We just have to say, hey, Putin, hey, Pooty Poot, and dare them. Strike down one of our planes. Strike down one. We don't even have to do no-fly zone. Get no-fly zone off the table. I'll backtrack what I said a little bit. Get no-fly zone off the table. Take it off the table entirely. Just surround the edges of the area that we can surround with planes that are NATO allies and U.S. Air Force planes, and do loop-de-loops and put on an air show for Putin. Say, hey, how's it going? Do you like your territorial conquests, you imperialistic bastard? How's it going? Shoot me down. We're not there. We're not doing a no-fly zone, Pooty Poot. We're just protecting our borders. We're protecting our borders. We're protecting the airspace that we don't want you in. Come here, Pooty. Because what Putin will say, irregardless if we have a no-fly zone or not, Putin will say that we did what we did to interfere with what he's planning on doing. Because that's when you're an abusive prick like Putin, that's what you're going to do. So I take it back a little bit. Maybe don't push the button. Maybe just piss him off. Now, that could do one of two things. That could either, one, have some trigger for happy Russian jet flyer hit one of our NATO planes or U.S. planes and down it. Or, number two, the first thing, the NATO plane being down. The second thing, Russia can decide to advance into a NATO area. And then we're justified in dealing with that because we're already protecting our allies. Those two things could happen. Do I want them to happen? Absolutely not. But at this point, I'll ask again, how many people need to die? And do you really think making America energy independent, which it really wasn't, by the way, not for nothing, it really wasn't. How many gallons of oil will make Putin stop? Two questions on the table for my nosy liberal listeners. Make you think about. Make you ponder. I'm just curious. By the way, you could hashtag FYILiveMe. I'll read your tweet happily. Would love to see some tweets. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know. Have I lost my mind? Have I turned into a warmongering conservative? I don't think I am. We can have different opinions on this. I think it's too little too late at this point. And I think we need to save the people of Ukraine and actually save the Ukrainian people. And instead of pussyfooting around it, we need to actually do it. I think that's where we're honestly at. We need to actually do it. And not for nothing, if I could volunteer, I would be the first to volunteer. Just so we're clear on that. I have always wanted to be in the Navy, and I've been stopped because of my health issues. And it sucks when you want to serve and you can't serve. So I applaud the people who did. Our liberal friends who have served in combat don't get enough credit. I'm not saying we have to go to war, but I'm saying we're damn close to it, and we need to have something that we can do to solve this problem. And I think we can get there. I think we can get there to solving the problem. I hope we can. I don't know about you, but I'm frustrated. By the way, if you want, donate to our Patreon page at FYI Nation. We need help, support. I had to quit my job because I was not making enough money, and now I'm not making any money. And frankly, it sucks. And I'm working on that issue as we speak, but I'm not going to be out of the hole until maybe April. And I need your help. It's $40 a day to keep us on the air. And then once we're on the air with $40 a day, I can go and help others like Tara Devlin and Robin Kincaid and give what we have to them to help them to go. So, and yes, we are live. Angelo, we are live. So am I wrong? What do we need to, well, the question of the day and the question of the hour is, what will stop Vladimir Putin at this point? Will bombing, here, I don't know how people spell this, but your life. Yes, I'm live. I'm live and I'm here, so I don't know what that means, but he just posted that on the YouTube channel at FYI Nation, and we're live. And I'm asking a question. It's a serious question. What can we do to stop Putin? No-fly zone has been suggested. Energy independence has been suggested. What idea works for you? What idea are you comfortable with? Or do you have no idea? And it's okay not to have an idea of what to do in this situation. It's okay to struggle with the whole situation. And you just move on. And hopefully you don't get your shit bombed. But yeah. So we're gonna take a quick break in about 3 minutes. Because I need to find some more stories for you guys. I ran out of stories. But Ted Cruz is a jackass. Back to my original point. He doesn't know how to lead. Republicans don't lead. Republicans seem to think that this is all about energy, independence, and it's not. This is about taking back the Russian Empire for Vladimir Putin. And at what point do we say no means no? We're not going to let you do this. I mean, how it's too late for some of the people in Ukraine who are already dead, but the ones who aren't, who are trying to flee, where do we go? It's a harsh thing to talk about and to deal with. And we should have been dealing with it and talking about it when Putin was in Syria and Yemen and all these other places. But they weren't white enough and European enough for us. So now we're talking about it. And now we're here. And surprise, it's an issue. And it really sucks. You know, and I really hate that it's an issue. But the unfortunate thing is we have to deal with it. And we'll get through it together. And that's what I'm hopeful for. I'm hopeful that we will get through the issues that we are dealt in hand together. They suck. They are not fun. But that's what us liberals do. Maybe I don't have to be so strong man, strong arm on this. Maybe I don't have to be. But I'd like your opinion. I did see one thing pop up, but asking me if I was live or alive. I'm not quite sure. But I am live and alive. And I hope that we can, when we come back from break, have a broader discussion. And I hope to hear from you at FY Nation via Skype. And we'll have a number up soon, too, as well. You know, I'm not the prettiest commentator. Just your non-binary friend here. But we're bringing you the news, and we're going to have some great guests next week and for the rest of the month. So I can't wait. And we're going to do the show irregardless. And I hope better times and better things come of it. We'll be right back.
Putin's war freezes Arctic research. That story and more on H2O Radio's weekly news report. I'm Jamie Sudler.
I'm Franny Halprin, and it's This Week in Water.
Last week, the United Nations IPCC, or Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, released its latest report, and there is cause for hope. But there's also a dire warning. This is the decade we must act if we are going to avoid the worst effects of global warming.
The IPCC says that human-caused climate change has already taken a toll. About half of the almost 8 billion people in the world experience severe water scarcity for at least a month every year, and extreme heat waves, droughts, and wildfires have increased in frequency far beyond their natural variability.
The assessment focuses on protecting vulnerable people. Poverty and the lack of basic infrastructure worsen the problems of global warming for millions.
The report urges everyone, including governments, businesses, and individuals, to move rapidly to meet the goal of limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius or 2.7 degrees Fahrenheit above pre-industrial levels. If greenhouse gases keep being emitted, every fraction of increase in temperature will magnify the losses from extreme events.
However, according to leading climate researcher Michael Mann, the good news is that opportunities do exist to move quickly away from fossil fuels and to bring greenhouse gas emissions down by 50% in the next decade.
The Arctic is warming 4 times faster than the global average, but the Russian invasion of Ukraine could freeze any cooperation in the polar region.
Last week, 7 of the 8 nations that make up the Arctic Council, the United States, Canada, Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Norway, and Sweden, announced they were suspending all their work indefinitely because Russia, also a member, had violated the Council's core principles of sovereignty and territorial integrity.
The Arctic Council was created in 1996 as a way for countries and indigenous groups in the polar north to work together on issues like climate change, sustainable development, and environmental protection.
But Russia's actions have caused research expeditions to come to a grinding halt. For example, the U.S. and Russia had been jointly managing a group of 3,000 polar bears that crossed between the two countries. After the invasion, U.S. Fish and Wildlife ordered government researchers to stop communicating with their Russian partners and cancel travel plans.
Under Russian leadership, the Arctic Council was to conduct research on thawing permafrost, a pressing issue for the northern part of that country. But the work is now in serious doubt, as is cooperative science on migratory birds, Pacific salmon, and ocean currents.
James Morrison, an oceanographer at the University of Washington, said, "It looks like Iron Curtain 2 has come down between us," adding that it was a small concern relative to the suffering of the Ukrainian people, but unfortunate nonetheless.
The room erupted in cheers and applause last week at the United Nations Environment Assembly when nearly 200 countries agreed to draft a first-ever treaty to curb the growth of plastic pollution.
The agreement is not just about litter, like water bottles that get tossed and end up on beaches. Rather, the framework of the treaty would cover the full life cycle of plastics, from design and production to disposal.
The agreement has been hailed as the most important multilateral climate deal since the 2015 Paris Accord on global warming. About 7 billion tons of the plastic produced since the middle of last century are now waste. 3/4 of that is littered on land, deposited in landfills, and accumulates in aquatic environments. The UN estimates that less than 10% has ever been recycled.
Plastic products release toxins and greenhouse gases during their life cycle. The treaty will cover packaging design, both to cut plastic use and improve recycling. And it will provide financial and technical assistance to developing countries. A draft of the treaty is expected to be finalized by 2024.
And finally, Saudi Arabia is predominantly desert, so it would be the last place you'd expect to grow a crop. But researchers did by pulling water out of thin air.
Scientists at King Abdullah University used solar panels and a special hydrogel to sprout and grow spinach.
Solar panels typically only convert about 20% of the energy they absorb into electricity. The rest is released as heat.
Instead of letting that heat go to waste, the researchers developed a unique hydrogel that can absorb more than its weight in moisture and spread a layer of it on the back of the panels.
While deserts are dry, there is moisture in the air, especially at night, and that's when the gel absorbed water vapor. Once the hydrogel was heated during the day, it released the water, in this case, to around 60 spinach seedlings in a planting box below.
After 2 weeks, the plants were 7 inches tall. The gel also had the added benefit of cooling the panels and increasing their energy output.
The atmosphere holds an estimated 12.9 billion tons of fresh water, an amount that through these types of harvesting processes could potentially meet the needs of more than 2 billion people worldwide, while also providing electricity and food security.
That's it for This Week in Water, which is sponsored by Bring Back the Blue, working to remove plastics from the ocean to support energy projects and the blue economy. Learn more at bringbacktheblue.blue.
Hey, ho, ho. Welcome to the show, The Nosey Liberal. My name is Tom Reynolds. Last few minutes of the hour till we get into the third hour. We're going to make all 3 hours today. We didn't last week. My apologies for that. I will have the podcast up for the show later. My apologies for that. I just didn't feel good yesterday. And when, unfortunately, when depression and everything hits at once, it doesn't end well. And luckily, I'm not one of those people who do anything drastic. I just find the nearest cave and put myself in it. And that's probably the most healthy thing that I can do when I'm feeling that way. And plus, I was sick. My stomach was, we talked about this earlier. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But we're going to switch to domestic stuff a little bit in the next hour and talk about Bill Barr and Donald Trump. And because this war in Ukraine, I don't like where it takes me. And I get too close to being a former conservative again. And ill on that. I got enough problems. I don't need to be reminded that I was once a conservative. But hashtag FY Live at FY Nation if you want to call in via Skype. You can also use the comment section in any of the ways that you're watching right now to comment about the show. And we are live, and we're going to have some great guests coming in starting next week. So as long as we don't get nuclearized by nuclear weapons, we will be here with some great guests next week. This week, it's just going to be you, me, and Liberal Woke Radio. It'll be fun, I hope, for you, and entertaining, I hope. And I hope you'll tell your friends. We need more people to know about the show. And maybe I'll wear more loud clothes. Today was a good day with the loud shirt. I don't normally wear things this loud because, oh my God, it is loud. And it is just not me. But it seemed to work with how I was going with the show today, so I guess I'm okay with it in the grand scheme. You gotta be able to trust your where you're going with things, and sometimes you just hope you don't fumble that ball. Is all. You just hope you don't fumble the ball, and you hope you make everything right, and you try for your best self. And that's what we're doing here on the Nosey Liberal today. And Donald J. Trump, we talked about Ted Cruz. We talked about the other stuff we had going on. The Donald J. Trump drama with Bill Barr, because Bill Barr wrote a book. He couldn't actually come out and say any of this shit when he was AG, so he had to wait and write a book. And this is what we get. We get him talking trash about Donald Trump after the fact. And instead of resigning on principle or doing anything with principle, he just goes and is himself and is an asshole. And unfortunately, this is where we're at in dealing with things. Now, this is not surprising. This is not surprising because Bill Barr is a water carrier for Donald Trump, and he has always carried the water for the executive, and he's always been that guy. And it's not surprising at all that Bill Barr would not prosecute Trump for January 6th riot. He wouldn't prosecute Trump for anything. He's a pussy. He's Trump's bitch. He will not go after Trump for any reason. And it's sad and it's pathetic and it's predictable. Like this shouldn't even be like a news story, to be quite honest. But we're going to talk about it in the next hour and coming up. And because I want to look, I have a very strong sense on what we should do with the January 6th rioters and what I have to say about people who dealt with this situation. I have a pretty strong stance on this. Probably stronger than most people. And I think that they're not doing enough when it comes to fighting for people and the destruction of our democracy. And it really it's really sad, but it's not surprising. And we'll talk about that coming up next. If you'll just give me a minute, we'll play our music and come into the next hour and close out the show with the idiocy of Donald Trump, because apparently this is a thing that people like talking about. I'm over it, but not everybody else is. We'll be right back.
FYINation.com costs $40 a day to keep on the air. Our original content doesn't sell you mattresses or storable food when you listen. We rely on your contributions to keep our programming paywall free. If you can't contribute, word of mouth is just as important. Tweet us at hashtag FYI Live or visit our chat at FYINation.com. And thank you for supporting FYI Nation.
Yes, I love it when I press the wrong button. It's always so much fun. Watch the Nosey Liberal on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. Like us on Facebook at FYI Live. Please do all that. Help us grow. We're here. My name is Thomas Reynolds. We're live, the Nosey Liberal, on Twitter. And you can catch me right now, live. And the show is live every day from 11 or from 9 a.m. to noon. And then we go into the Tom Hartman show, which is live. So on FYNation.com. And we hope you enjoy that too. Let's see here. Where am I? Bill Barr. Well, you know it's good when Donald Trump writes a letter to Lester Holt and rips both he and Lester Holt. So we'll get to that part, but let's get to the part that Bill Barr is still carrying Donald Trump's water. Trump Attorney General Bill Barr would not put Donald Trump on trial for the January 6th riot on the Capitol. He said, although he believes the former president was responsible and a part of the plan to disrupt the certification of the 2020 election, he also said that he would probably let the former commander-in-chief skate for taking classified documents to Mar-a-Lago, where he's still Attorney General. In a wide-ranging interview, Lester Holt, helping Barr pawn off his book, his last days in office, and debunked the claim that the presidential election was fraudulent. So he's still carrying Donald Trump's water. Who is surprised? Like, this shouldn't even be... Look at where we're living at, where there's a news story about this. Who is surprised at this? Right? That's like saying I'm wearing too loud a shirt. Like, this shirt does not go with the rest of my body, and I really wish I didn't pick it. But I did, so it is what it is. That's what this shirt is saying to me today. Bill Barr is saying, yeah, I'm a softie on Donald Trump. I'll still carry his water. Like, I don't think he's that. Like, I think he's a bad person, but he's my kind of bad person. And this is what pisses me off about the corporate media, right? They want access so bad. So they're not mean to these people. Like, I don't ever want Bill Barr on my show or anyone like him running or any of it. I don't. Left or right. Like, I would never do that. Trump had taken home 15 boxes of classified records, but Barr shrugged it off when asked if the former AG would prosecute him for that. To tell you the truth, I probably wouldn't, Barr said. The president decides. This is how they think, man. The president, he's no longer president. It's not for him to decide. It's not for him to decide. He's no longer president of the United States. He lost that title. Prosecute him. Barr has been circle jerking the media lately as part of a book promotion for One Damn Thing After Another, Memoirs of an Attorney General. He's trying to rehabilitate himself from the shitty thing he did. And the shitty thing he did was actually be Donald Trump's attorney general. And it's crazy that the corporate media, this liberal elite media, is helping Bill Barr along. Lester Holt should be like, no, dude, go to Newsmax. Go to Newsmax, baby. Instead, Lester Holt's all comfortable and nice and smiling and everything's all glee. And they're cheerful. And they're happy. And they're just having a good old time. And it's sick. Look. This is what they do. This is the game they play. They play for power. They play for keeps. They play for rehabilitation. And it's sick. He's trying to go after Donald Trump now, but you worked for him. You were a part of the machine. You were a part of the green light. And people are going to buy this book. And people are going to go and want interviews with this guy. Barr told the Associated Press that the Justice Department had investigated the claims but found no widespread issues that would overturn the outcome. Trump barked, but you did not have to say that. You could have just said no comment. This is killing me. This is pulling the rug out from under me. So let's understand why Donald Trump is really mad at Bill Barr and why he's writing a strongly worded letter, because he's being outed. Donald Trump is being outed by Bill Barr. And the media, including myself to a degree, see, I'm doing it to point out how ridiculous this is, and we should move past Donald Trump and just understand that this is what these people do. They carry the water for these wannabe oligarchs. Right? This is what they do. They carry the water for them. And apparently, I like this. Oh, this is fun. So, mentally handicapped by politics you are. Dustin. Interesting comment. I'm literally taking the side that we shouldn't have this type of discourse where it's a back and forth, and you throw that in. You have a Trumpian way to go at me by calling me names. That's adult. Instead of just saying something about disagreeing with me or Trump is right or any of that, you have to even correct your own grammar as you tweet, which is hilarious. I mean, and tweet is the wrong word because it's comment section in here, but I love it. Dustin is calling me mentally handicapped. And Dustin says, I'm anti-political. Okay, that's great on you. So you don't want to be a participant in the system, but you're okay with coming on somebody's page and calling them names because you don't agree with them. My whole point, if you were listening, instead of calling me names, was saying that this shouldn't be a thing where the corporate media goes and does rounds for people like Bill Barr to sell books and have a rehabilitation. That was my point. If you had, Dustin, sat and actually listened and paid attention. And I'm not canceling you. See, you're very right-wing, Dustin. Talk to me. Don't cancel me. Dustin, I'm not canceling you. I'm saying, Dustin, if you listen to what I said, See, this is the problem with people on the whatever side you're on, the disagreeing side, let's say. They take things personally. Oh, you're canceling me. No, I want to have a dialogue with you. But here's the problem, Dustin. You are not listening to the dialogue I'm having. What I am saying is Bill Barr should not be allowed by the likes of MSNBC and be allowed to go and act this way. And then you're saying you don't want to be canceled, but left versus right is mentally handicapped. Picking sides is mentally handicapped. How about not calling people names? You don't want to be canceled, dude? You don't want to be blocked from my page and have an actual conversation? How about having an actual conversation? And make a point. You know about Bill Barr from the media. Where is the point there? Of course I do. Of course I do, because he wrote a book. See, you're not even listening. You're getting blocked. I'm blocking you because you're not even listening. Look, I'm all for people who want to have discourse, but mentally handicapped and calling people names, and that's not discourse. And saying obvious things. Well, the media is covering Bill Barr. Yeah, of course the media is covering Bill Barr because they want access to the next attorney general. Yeah, non-right winger. Although I think you're a right winger. I think you're a righty. You're a troll. We'll call you a troll. And you're blocked. And I did cancel you. And I canceled you because you didn't want to have an actual conversation. You wanted to actually go after people's abilities and calling them mentally handicapped. And if we wanted that, we just read a Donald Trump story. See, we don't do that here. All right? We don't call each other names. We have a discussion here. If you think that maybe I shouldn't call Ted Cruz an idiot or Joe Manchin stupid, that's your opinion, and that's okay. But that's what they are. Ted Cruz is an idiot for thinking that having oil as our way out of this geopolitical mess we're in is going to be the end game that stops Vladimir Putin. That's idiotic. So he's an idiot. Bill Barr and the corrupt corporate media is corrupt because they are using each other. The corporate media is using Bill Barr for access. Bill Barr is using the corporate media for rehabilitation. It's really not that hard, Dustin. And I didn't have to call anybody names to do it. You can be corrupt and not call them a name. Now, I'm sure Lester Holt is a very nice man and a fine dinner guest. Just as Brian Williams is a very nice man and a fine Katie Couric. You name the anchor. But if they're willing to be having corrupt politicians on to continue their access and not willing to take a stand to that, I'm going to call them what they are. And that does not make me politically handicapped. That makes me smarter than the average bear. Because I'm willing to see the corruption in the media. I'm willing to point out the corruptness that is there. They're desperate for access. So they will give people like Bill, and the right is more guilty of this than the left, but the left does it equally, and there's no genuine left. There's no genuine left. Except for Tara Devlin, Tom Hartman, Democracy Now!, Robin Kincaid, all of which we have on FYNation.com. Amy Goodman does not go fishing for access. Tara Devlin does not go fishing for access. I would never go fishing for access. I don't need that. If you want to come on the show, everybody can come on the show at FI Nation via Skype, or like Dustin did until he got blocked for name calling. You can participate. It's really easy to do. We do this morning show so people can have a voice during turbulent times, and it's not about me, right? I'm just the vessel. Okay, that's probably a gross image to portray, but I am just the way to get your view across, but I can't do that unless you participate. And I want more participation, not less, but I'm not going to tolerate name calling of me or of my audience or any guest I have on. It's not going to happen. Lay that one down right now. Because I have this little thing called block, and I'll block you. And I'll do it happily. You can watch and participate and tweet about me and tweet at me, all you please. But you have that free will. Just like Bill Barr has the free will to go peddle his book. But to like the left and the right is mentally handicapped. Come on, really? Politics is mentally handicapped? Dustin, grow the fuck up. Quit trolling the internet to find whatever you can to make your point across in a shitty ass way. If you wanted to have a conversation, a decent conversation, we could have done that. I'm all for that. I'm glad to see that the pictures and everything work when we stream. I'm glad to know it works, that I'm paying for it. But you got to work with me. We can't, look, here's the thing, folks. We cannot continue to tolerate the corrupt corporate media telling us things for clickbait and for the purposes of rehabilitation. Bill Barr is trying to rehabilitate his third act. Just like Andrew Cuomo is out giving speeches at churches and trying to rehabilitate his career. Don't give them the access and give them the power. The minute we do that, we've lost the narrative. And look, I'm okay even for a little healthy name calling. Healthy name calling, if you call me an idiot or whatever, I'll hear you through. Like, I'm all for that. You want to call Tom Reynolds, the nosy liberal, an idiot? Why am I an idiot? What did I do that was idiotic? Dustin couldn't even explain himself. See, on this show, when you come onto the show, into our world, you have to be able to continually process the information that you're given by me and explain yourself when you make a statement that's contrary or in support. I don't want yes men and yes people just to call this show or tweet this show or comment on the show. I want people of all different ways to give me their opinion. But I want it to be something that is not some kind of dribble that we just got from Dustin. So Dustin is blocked. We don't need that crap in our timeline. It's bad enough we have people like Bill Barr going in our timeline and decimating civil liberties. And like it is, I'm trying to not to call it a name, but mentally handicapped is the right thing for Bill Barr. When you handicap yourself mentally to say that the president has executive power because he's the president, you do not allow yourself any out for democracy. And that you are mentally handicapping an argument. You are literally mentally handicapping an argument. That's not calling Bill Barr mentally handicapped as a person. That's calling the argument that he's making mentally handicapped. Now, if Destin was going to do that, that'd be a whole different conversation we could have. But just to throw, I don't care if you're the left or the right doing this, but just to throw name calling and things that are unnecessary to the table when we could have be having a valid discussion that's worthwhile on a platform that is trying to grow so more people can have a valid discussion. That's important. That's what I want to do. But what I don't want to do is again, Lester Holt is probably the nicest guy in the damn world. But he shouldn't be having rehabilitation tours with Bill Barr so he could sell more books. Bill Barr should be in a retirement home somewhere. Really simple. Not hard at all. Bill Barr should be in a retirement home somewhere, living out his best life. Not trying to rehabilitate whatever he thinks is left of yada, yada, yada to his career. And the media allowing him free reign. Explain that to me. Make it make sense. We have that saying on the show. Make it make sense. The corporate media, I need, Mr. Barr, I need access to your next person in line, so I'm going to give you all the access you want. Even if I disagree with your politics and I think everything you've done is wrong, and I tell my audience that every night when I tell you the news, I have to be objective and have you on because I need the access, Mr. Barr. What about having the dissident on? What about that? And I apologize. My nose is really running. It's driving me crazy and I don't have a tissue. What about having the dissident on? That doesn't agree with Bill Barr? Or are we just going to go to the Trump letter? Donald Trump, headline, disagrees with Bill Barr and calls him lots of names. Are we going to do that? Is that where we're at? We're gonna go and open that door? Are you fucking kidding me? Let's not. Let's close that door. Let's say it's equally wrong for our politicians to be insulting of people as it is some commenter on a YouTube channel that is just trying to strive out for views. I hate blocking people. I want to have a discourse with people. But I'm not going to tolerate that for my audience and the people who might be on the channel. If you can't be respectful of me and be respectful of the audience at large, then sorry, you're the one with the problem, not me. And I'm going to make what is the problem go away. I'm not doing this for fame or fortune or any other reason to get progressive and liberal issues and causes out and make people understand what they're doing as a whole. And if I'm doing it wrong, I want to be told I'm doing it wrong. If I'm doing it right, I want to be told I'm doing it right. We can have fun and have a political discourse that is meaningful in the process. It is a possible thing to do. But not do what Dustin just said. So, there's that. I got my first one, everybody. Yay. Proud of that. So, it is what it is. Back to the story at hand. This is the second part of it. The headline from, and this has over 1,300 shares, by the way, from The Hill. Trump rips Barr in letter to NBC's Lester Holt. I made many great appointments during my administration, and we accomplished more than most administration could even dream of. But Bill Barr was not one of my better picks, Trump wrote. He crumbled under the pressure and bowed to the radical left, and that is not acceptable. Now he is groveling to the media, hoping to gain acceptance that he doesn't deserve. Well, Jesus Christ, me and Donald Trump kind of agree on something. That's the scary thing. I agree that he's groveling to the media, but he's trying to rehabilitate himself, not gain acceptance. He already has. See, Trump, this is what you're missing, my friend. He already has the acceptance because he's able to do the media tour. If nobody would see him and do an interview with Lester Holt, he would not have said acceptance. With respect to prosecuting political rivals, it was the opposite, Trump said in one of his responses. Despite the many crimes committed by the Biden family, I did not push Barr to go after them. Bullshit. While the things done were legendarily corrupt, I thought it would be inappropriately for me to get personally involved. Bullshit. Donald Trump, again. A guy who just does not understand reality and does not understand how things work and how perceptions work, is trying to rewrite what actually happened and rewrite the media narrative of the time, where everybody, including him, was pushing and pushing and pushing for Biden investigations and Hunter Biden investigations and more investigations and everything else, consistently pushing for this with Bill Barr and what's his face? I want to say Ashcroft, wrong Attorney General. Does that not date me? His other Attorney General. Can't remember his name. The Alabaman. What the hell's his name? Oh, and if Lou Hastings is watching, Dana Loesch was the person that I was trying to remember in the right wing yesterday, and I knew I'd remember it on the show because I remembered it this morning, and I nearly called you. Hold on one second, I just have to respond to this. Give me a half hour, please. All right, so it's like, it's very frustrating when you're trying to do this and you see the things that are wrong, and it feels sometimes like you're the only person pointing them out. Like you're the only person that's awoke and wake and pointing out that, oh my God, this is wrong and this is happening the way it is. That's why I'm so gratified when I have people who are watching and who are listening and who are commenting, because I know that I'm not alone. right? I feel that you are a part of this and you're participatory nature with me. Okay. And we are, I don't understand people sometimes. Uh, People drive me nuts. All I gotta say. Um, that basis. Let's go back to what I was talking about. Um, I understand that the media has to gain access and do these things. But they make it so obvious. And they make it so treacherous. And these people constantly get a pass for the stupid ass things they say. It drives me insane. It really does. And it would be nice if Fox News was the only culprit of this. But it's not. It's everybody on the left, the corporate media side of it, that is called the left. MSNBC is guilty of this. And they're called the left. The left. The left. They're not the left. They're corporate media. CNN is guilty of this. They're called the left. The Blaze, Breitbart, Newsmax, they're all guilty. The wanton chase, not to get an accurate story, but to get the quote from the person in power and have that be all the shares and the likes and everything else, diminishes what is actually being talked about. And then it comes down to name calling and butchering of what we're actually trying to do here. What people actually trying to level the playing field are trying to do here. And it should frustrate you. It frustrates me. It should frustrate you. And yet, here we are, yet again. We're in a situation where Bill Barr is trying to rehabilitate himself, can't talk, on a show, which is funny that I can't talk today. He's trying to rehabilitate himself. And he's not doing a very good job of it. And it's quite pathetic. And then you have Trump coming in all hot and heavy. And the Trumpers are going to believe whatever the Trumpers believe because Trump said it. And then you're just going to have a shit sandwich. It's really sad. It's really pathetic that that's where we're at. And it's all about access. It's all about the political gain. It doesn't come down to your vote mattering or my vote mattering or the kitchen table issues. It comes down to he said, she said, whack-a-mole, party politics, bullshit. And if Dustin wanted to have a conversation earlier, I would have been more than happy to say, what's wrong with the political discourse? Why can't we have a political discourse? I think the left and the right should. I don't think it has to be within boundaries of Glenn Beck's The Blaze or Tom Reynolds' FYNation.com or Tara Devlin's Terror Buster. I think we can have honest conversations if we're willing to not play that gotcha discourse when it comes to involving yourself in the conversation. But it doesn't work for clickbait. It's never boring, by the way, but it doesn't work for clickbait. So it doesn't bring in the money. It doesn't excite people. So what does the media then do? The media goes to the lowest common denominator. The media goes to the Donald Trump letter about Bill Barr because this is what Barr said. And then I have to point out, maybe we shouldn't be paying attention to them. That, yeah, we are. But the only way I could get you to pay attention to the bigger picture is say, what is Donald Trump saying today? And I shouldn't have to do that. And in most cases, I don't. In most cases, I don't. But I should never have to do that. And it drives me nuts that that's where we're at in the political discourse. And people are just so gullible and so willing to accept everything at face value. They're not willing to do their own research. Look, I understand I could be wrong, but shit, let's do some research on it first. Try and get the facts straight as we find out we're wrong. And if we need to be taught something new, let's do that too. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, more exciting talk. Stay tuned for the final half hour of the program.
FYINation.com costs $40 a day to keep on the air. Our original content doesn't sell you mattresses or storable food when you listen. We rely on your contributions to keep our programming paywall free. If you can't contribute, word of mouth is just important. Tweet us at hashtag FYI Live or visit our chat at FYINation.com. And thank you for supporting FYI Nation.
Oh, hey, ho, ho. We're going to have a little bit of fun now for this half hour. You deserve a little fun in a morning show. And I didn't get to do this story about Harvey Weinstein. And I love the story about Harvey Weinstein. I didn't get to do the story with Rory, and I wish I would have had more fun doing it with Rory, but I love the story. He still thinks he can do it, right? He still thinks, Harvey Weinstein still thinks that he can get away with whatever he wants to do. And he's so pathetic. So, the story is from Variety. And Harvey Weinstein caught with contraband milk duds in LA jail. Fucking milk duds. Oh, Lord Jesus. Poor Harvey. The milk duds were found during a search on November 10th after Weinstein had a face-to-face meeting with Sean Berkeley, one of his attorneys. The milk duds were confiscated, and the guards warned that they would have to search his attorney's legal binders and laptop bags on future visits. Weinstein claimed to the guards that he had brought the milk duds in with him when he was extradited from New York in July. But the jail official said he had been searched upon his arrival in the LA County Jail's medical facility, and nothing was found, leading them to conclude that the milk duds were passed to him during the attorney's visit. I just need me some milk duds. Oh my God. The world is on fire. And Harvey Weinstein needs milk duds. This was an innocent misunderstanding, Weinstein said. It will not happen again. And I have been a model inmate following all the rules and regulations. I am sincerely sorry. Weinstein's attorneys Mark Worksman and Alan Jackson also issued an apology. We have been informed about this and are very sorry it happened, they said. Sounds like a mea culpa to me. It had not happened before and never happened since that we know of, because this is when Harvey got caught with the milk duds. Harvey has been a model inmate and intends to continue as such, except when he's with the milk duds. I love this story. I love this story. All I wanted was a milk dud. How you gonna be so mean? So he's being held in the Twin Towers jail downtown LA, where he awaits trial on 11 charges of rape and sexual assault. In 2020, he was sentenced to 23 years in prison in New York. That conviction is being appealed, and the ruling on the appeal is expected in the next couple of months. Who knows how the milk duds controversy will have on the appeal. Weinstein is entitled to face-to-face visits with his attorneys as he prepares for trial, but the jail officials warned that if further contraband is found, the attorneys could be forced to put in a special booth. Okay, I'm sorry, but if anything says rapist to me, it's Milk Dud Man. You can't control yourself for milk duds, and you're like, give me some milk duds, man. You're probably a rapist. I'm just saying, if you have to have the milk duds that badly, you got to get your attorney. You got to get your attorneys to come in and get them for you. Just hear me out. You're probably a rapist. If you cannot control yourself over the simplest thing like milk duds, you have the worst impulse control that I've ever heard of. So Harvey Weinstein goes to jail in LA and he's like, yeah, they were already there. Don't you believe me? They were already there. Why don't you believe me? Are you fucking kidding me, Harvey? And of all the things, right? It's like, well, how are you going to make it harder on yourself, dude? You're already a convicted felon out on appeal with the charges in New York. You're going to be convicted in LA. You're screwed. Why screw yourself? See, this is what I don't understand about people. And somebody smarter than me will have to explain to me. Why do people go out of their way in a bad situation to just say, fuck it, I'm going to make it worse? I don't understand why people go out of their way in a bad situation to make a situation worse. It makes no sense to me. Like, I can't understand why Harvey Weinstein, knowing the consequences, I mean, this just makes him look worse. I mean, he's a rapist, and he's a horrible human being. And he feels so entitled to milk duds. Gotta have my milk duds. And then to get the attorney, you know, this was a thing, right? Where the attorneys colluded with Weinstein to get him the milk duds. So this had to be talked about, and they know it's contraband. So the attorneys know. That's why they're so apologetic. The attorneys know they shouldn't have brought in the contraband in the first place. So they make a huge outpouring of sorry. They do that all over themselves. And it's just like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? And again, this is why we can't have nice things. I'm constantly bewildered at people who think they can just do whatever the fuck they want. Milk duds. Dude, you're in prison. You're going to be in prison for years and years and years to come. Maybe don't make it worse on yourself, Harvey. I have no sympathy for Harvey Weinstein. I'm just saying, maybe don't make yourself more of a laughingstock than you already are. I'm just saying. Can you not do that? Can you not make yourself look more of a laughingstock than you already are? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Harvey Weinstein. Gotta have my milk duds. And by the way, I didn't do it. Didn't do it. Typical privilege. I brought him in with me, man. But we searched you. But I brought him in with me. You didn't catch that. I brought him in with me. But we searched you. But I'm Harvey Weinstein. Yeah, you're a rapist. We searched you. Oh my God. Well, if one thing carries on, it's fucking white privilege to the end. I'm gonna get away with my milk duds, man. I could see Donald Trump being involved in a story like this at some point too. Smuggled in fuddy-duddies or some shit. Harvey Weinstein with his milk duds. You gotta be fucking kidding me. I just love this story because it makes me know that the system is kind of working. When they'll at least catch the guy in the act. They caught Harvey Weinstein, sexual predator, stealing milk duds into prison with their attorney. And you know they did it. You know they did it because the attorneys are, oh my God, I'm so sorry. It won't happen again. Don't put us in the booth. Don't put us in the special booth. Oh, Lord Jesus. Best story of the year. Absolute best. One, it tells me privilege still exists. When you think that you can get away with, even as a not a murderer, as a rapist, you think that even as a rapist, convicted rapist, can get away with milk duds in a prison because you have money. And two, that the system actually works to find the milk duds that the rapist had in his possession that he was not supposed to have in the first place. On a white man, by the way. Every once in a while, you got to do a hurrah for the system. System does not always get it right, but when it does, it finds that milk dud. It just, gotta love that. That is the best story we're going to do all week, I think. The milk dud story. You got to love a milk dud, don't you? There's a Seinfeld episode that wraps itself around in a milk dud, where a milk dud falls into the chest of a guy during surgery. Great episode. You could do a lot with milk duds. Don't put us in the booth, man. Don't want to go in the booth. Please don't put me in the booth. Unbelievable. Harvey Weinstein. Convicted rapist. Milk dud smuggler. Oh, I gotta love that the system works well enough to be able to find the milk duds that the fat man has. Yes, he's a fat man. I can say that as being a person of generous weight. I will call him the fat man. Or would you rather I just call him a rapist? I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. We could call him a rapist, fat man, asshole, at large. Again, whatever we call Harvey Weinstein, it doesn't matter to me. I just happen to love the story that Harvey Weinstein got caught carrying contraband. And he thought he could get away with it. Wasn't me. The system works. Every once in a while, you have to take a deep breath because the system works. If it's shitting on Harvey Weinstein, it can't be all that bad. As long as you're shitting on the appropriate person, it's okay to take a jump. But when you go too far, then we have to have some conversation about it. I have some stories here that I do want to do, but I don't want to do. And we got 10 minutes left. and I don't want to waste it because today's been a good show. I think I like and subscribe the Facebook channel or this Facebook page and the YouTube channel and the Twitter feed. That would be great if you could do that for me. That would be wonderful. It would be really nice if you did that for me. We got our first little bit of confrontation and comments. Guthrie and the Bill Barr thing. There's a headline on the Hill. Didn't Americans deserve to know what you knew? Oh, Lord. The applause question. Excuse me. All right, we're going to do this story. We need a little bit of outrage. Let's go for something that only has 17 shares. And let's see. Let's see. Here, just getting the story up. The Supreme Court sides with defendant in Armed Career Criminal Act case. So, the crux of the case turned on how many criminal occasions occurred one night in 1997 when William Dale Wooden and 3 others entered a single building storage facility in Georgia, smashed through the drywall, separating different storage areas within, and stole a total of 10 units. The number of criminal occasions is critical because the Armed Career Criminal Act slaps on a mandatory 15-year minimum sentence on illegal gun possession for offenders with a record of 3 or more violent felony convictions on occasions different from one another. Tough on crime, right? We got to be tough on crime. We're going to be tough on crime here. You do all these crimes, you're going to get a 15-year minimum, and we're going to go after you. Years later, when Wooden was charged with an unrelated gun possession offense, the lower courts determined Wooden's 1997 burglary counted as 10 separate criminal occasions, with each storage unit being entered and treated separately under the ACCA's Occasions Clause. Wooden was handed a nearly 16-year sentence for unlawful gun possession, largely as a result of the ACCA's 15-year mandatory minimum. But here's the outrage. Republicans are outraged. We're not being tough on crime. And the activist Supreme Court is not being tough on crime. But in Monday's unanimous judgment, the Supreme Court said Wooden's 1997 burglary counted as a single criminal occasion, not 10. In effect, the court ruled that the ACCA should not have been applied to Wooden's illegal gun possession charge. So basically, Wooden did all the burglaries in a single night. It's a simple, uninterrupted course of conduct. One location, one building, one facility, one address, yada, yada, yada. It was not different. The crimes were all identical. It was one crime, and they were all intertwined with each other, according to Kagan. The burglaries were part and parcel to the same scheme, accosted by the same motive, accompanied by the same means. Indeed, each burglary in some sense facilitated the next, as a normal person would conclude, and Wooden moved from unit to unit all in a row. So the justices were all unanimous in their judgment. the outrage will go to the Republican side. The outrage will go to the Republican side because the justices should have put this guy in prison for 15 years. He should have gotten 15 years. According to the Republicans, because we're being tough on crime, and these cases are 10, and you add that, and then you get 15, and they are separate crimes. No, you committed one criminal act. That makes it 2 criminal acts, not 15, not the magical math that the Republican wanted to make. And I bet that it doesn't say what race this guy is, but I bet he's a black man. I bet he's a black man. They want to talk about the disintegration of the black family and the disintegration of black America because there are no African American parental figures that are male in American culture. Try not putting them all in prison on trumped up charges. Can we do that? The outrage, again, in this story is not that he got the unanimous verdict by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, in all its wisdom, did the right thing. They saw the law as it should be and said, no, 10 crimes wrapped into one does not equal 10. It equals 1 crime. The Republicans will be mad because you cannot be tough on crime, cannot be tough on criminals, and they cannot call this out. That's why they'll be mad. They will not be mad at the injustice that was done here to this person, who I bet is black. Doesn't say, but I bet he's black. And the Armed Career Criminal Act should be done away with. It's a tough on crime bullshit measure that frankly needs to go. We need to reform the police. We need to reform criminal justice. We need to reform our laws. And I'm glad that the Supreme Court will make the Republicans outraged with this because maybe they'll see how wrong they are. That's a joke, by the way. They will never see how wrong they are because they're Republicans. Because they think being tough on crime means strong sentences. Lock them away and get rid of them and don't rehabilitate and don't help people who are going through probably mental issues to deal in these things. So here we are, folks, at the end of our program. Went by really fast. Thank you for participating. Thank you for joining. The FY Nation page will have the SoundCloud link and the YouTube link and all the links so you could go and find us and like us and subscribe, and I hope you do. That keeps us going. The more participation we have, the better we'll be. So please, 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 please participate. Participate, participate. I need your participation, even if it's just listening and watching the full 3 hours, or some of the 3 hours are going back and telling your friends, watch the show, check this clip out, this part out. Tom said this, Tom did this. Get people interacting about the show. That is very important. We could have our Republican outrage of the moment every day. Because you know they're always outraged about something. And it's usually the wrong thing. Because they're always on the wrong track. Coming up next is the Tom Hartman program. Thank you guys for watching and listening. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. And see you all later, alligator.